Welcome to Laliland, guys. We're gonna go on a haunted walk today. Come with us.
Hey guys.
Hey. So today we're taking you to the town of New Hope, Pennsylvania.
We're doing an event called the New Hope Haunted Photo Walk, where they actually take you on a guided tour of some of the haunted places in New Hope, tell you a little bit about the history, and it's free, so that's why we're going.
And we're telling you this now so that when we get there and start filming, you're like, what are they doing? That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
So we don't know how many people are going to show up. We don't know if anyone else is going to be vlogging it, but we wanted to vlog it for you guys to come with us because New Hope does have some creepy haunted places. We walked into one that we'll tell you about when we get to it later, and one time and it was just piano music playing and there was no hostess, there was nobody at the restaurant, and we were like, we're gonna back away now.
So this is a good subject to fit the month of October with Halloween coming, so we invited you guys to come along. So let's go.
So we made it to New Hope. It's packed here today. It's a Sunday, it's packed. I'm still feeling a little funky, so we did get wristbands. We were in the first 100 people to get here. I can't speak. So they did give us this tour to go do it on our own if we wish to, or we can come back at the 5 o'clock group and walk with them. So we're trying to figure out what we're gonna do. I would love for them to tell us like ghost stories.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not feeling
like
so hot.
Making up as we go along today. It's all good.
We could tell you guys like totally different. We could be like in 1892. I mean, if we wanted to start, we could. But we're gonna show you around a little bit first since we have some time to kill. So
yeah, let's
go look at New Hope.
Pretty dead around here today, huh, buddy? Yeah. Pretty dead. Tables are all set and numbered inside this railway car, so you can actually take a ride and have some dinner on the New Hope Ivyland Railroad. It's pretty cool. I never knew that. Make a train noise.
Toot toot! Honk honk, how does the train go? How does the train go? You do it. Make your train noise.
Go. You can't just go toot toot and honk honk. You have to build up to it. You have to be like chugga 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 choo choo. That's how you do it. I feel like if I try to kill it, it will come after me. This is the spotted lanternfly.
How it's going to work is we're going to go to a location. I'm going to do just a brief little background story about where the location is, and you guys can feel free then take pictures. You can take pictures while I'm explaining as well, but then you're going to take pictures and we'll move on to the next location and go from there. Any questions to start off? Yes.
What's your name?
What's my name? I'm altimeter. I'm a test pilot.
Dad joke.
My name is Scott. I'll be your tour guide for the night. My name is Scott. So
there's always one that has to ask the question. A
few business announcements real quick. Obviously, This event is put on by our friends at the Bucks County Visitor Center, Visit Bucks County, and we are the Ghost Tours of New Hope. And the Ghost Tours of New Hope runs from the first Saturday in June to the Saturday before Thanksgiving, every Saturday night at 8 o'clock. It's a 1-hour tour, and it's only $10 per person. You can do a private tour any time of the year, anytime you want. All you need are 8 people, and it's only $12 per person. In October, we do, on the public tour, we do Friday and Saturday nights. So please come out and join us. And this tour was started 38 years ago by a very famous author, Audie Kent Thomas Jeffrey. She wrote books, Ghost in the Valley, More Ghost in the Valley, and both of those books is a reference to the Philadelphia area or the Delaware Valley. She also wrote the best-selling book, The Bermuda Triangle. She started these ghost tours in 1981, and they were very successful, that we've been going for 38 years. So Audie Kent Thomas Jeffrey is how she laid the template for how we do these tours, where we give you a little bit of history and we give you a little bit of mystery. So these the stories that we tell you, they are true, documented stories. Some of the stories you're going to hear are published and are from some of her books. She wrote a total of 13 books, just so you know, which I think for someone who does mystery writing, 13 was the perfect number for her to write.
And we're walking. We're going under the bridge. He said there's no trolls under the bridge. Spiders. Mikey's favorite.
We're going to our first stop, which is the Logan Inn.
Which is the one that scares me the most, actually. So we're starting off with the one I think is most haunted.
Yes.
We've
been inside there before, and it was just plain creepy. Look at this way that we're going. We're going like down this path. And we're gonna go under that bridge right there.
Don't let me fall into the swamp. I have a habit of doing that in places. Still on the back.
Ooh. Look at that fancy car. Nice.
This building across the street, this is the Logan Inn. It is the oldest standing building in the village of New Hope. It was built in 1727, and at the time that it was built, it was simply referred to as the Ferry Inn. I do not have a list of the most haunted buildings in this village, but if I were to make a list, I would put this at number 1. As a matter of fact, several years ago, the Food Network declared that the Logan Inn is the most haunted inn in the world that serves food and spirits. There is a room in the Logan Inn that they refer to as the haunted room. That is room 6. If you look on the second floor, you see the middle window, that's a closet. If you look to the right of the closet, those 2 windows is room 6. Room 6 sits on the corner of Berry Street, which is the street in front of you, and Main Street, which is right at the end of the corner here. One of the owners of the Logan Inn in the 1960s was a man by the name of Carl Lutz. There's a very famous portrait inside. Many people don't know who that is. And the portrait is actually from Carl Lutz's family. It's Carl Lutz's grandparents. When he bought the inn in the early 60s, he put that portrait in because he thought it would go great with his brand new inn. People that are near that painting will sometimes pick up the scent of lavender and sometimes smell lavender throughout the house because his grandmother loved the flower. Now, I'm going to draw your attention to this other building through the right through that opening there. That is the Benjamin Perry Mansion. He built this home in 1784, and he also owned quite a few mills in the village. He owned the main mill in the village, and he actually developed a patent for the development of grain, that the patent still exists today. Benjamin Perry also was the man that financed the second bridge ever to span across the Delaware River. And that is the bridge between New Hope and Lambertville that was built in 1811. The Benjamin Perry Mansion stayed in the family, his family, till 1966, when the New Hope Historical Society took it over. And ever since then, it's been run by a bunch of volunteers. Consistently in this mansion, people have seen what they would describe as a little girl about 12 years old. And we don't know if it's one of his grandchildren or great-grandchildren, but we would presume it's one of his descendants. People have also said they've seen a 12-year-old girl playing in the Logan Inn. So is it related to the Perry Mansion people? Is it related to Benjamin Perry? We don't know for sure, but it's an interesting coincidence of a consistency of a little girl in this building and a little girl in the Logan Inn as well. When Benjamin Perry built that home in 1784, this village was known as Coryell or Coryell's Ferry because the Coryell family ran the ferry boat. In 1790, Benjamin Perry's main mill caught fire and it burnt to the ground. It brought into question the survival of the village of Coryell. So many of the people that lived here went to Benjamin Perry's home and said, "Benjamin Perry, sir, we're thinking of leaving Coryell. What are you going to do?" And Benjamin Perry said, "Nope, I'm not going to leave. As a matter of fact, I'm going to build a brand new mill. And this brand new mill is going to bring new hope to this village." And that is where you get the name New Hope. And the brand new mill that Benjamin Perry built is the Bucks County Playhouse, which we'll be visiting later on today. Not this house, but the one next to it. This is the Lavender House. And they refer to it as the Lavender House because the man who lived there, Tom Lynch, coincidentally painted it the color of lavender. And inside that house, there's been more than one occasion where we have seen an apparition has appeared and reappeared time and time again over the course of several nights. I'm going to draw your attention to the row of homes across the street. This is Regent's Row. Regent's Row was built by Benjamin Perry, the man we just talked about, who owned the mills. He built these for his foremen who worked in the mills. One of the things that's consistent with Ferry Street, and in particular Regent's Row, people have seen what they would describe as a woman in white. She looks transparent, yet floating. People have seen this throughout the house. They've even seen a woman with that description literally walking through one wall, across the room, and disappearing into the next wall as if she's going into the next room or maybe even to the next apartment or townhouse. People have said they even have seen a woman in white, transparent, yet floating on the roof of this building. And at night, sometimes people have seen that description from the right end of Regency Row going down Ferry Street across the railroad tracks, screaming into the night. There's a very famous silent film that was done in 1914 called The Perils of Pauline. May I introduce to you the New Hope Ivyland Railroad. To the right, where we just crossed over the railroad tracks, there's a curve in the tracks that's known as Pauline's Trestle. That's where they filmed the scene of Pauline being tied to the railroad tracks.
That gray door on the end, I asked the tour guide Scott what it was and he didn't know, but it gives me the creeps. Did you see the gray door? I'll put the gray door back in. Took a picture of it. Creep me out.
What if you open that door and it's just nothing? It looks like a brick wall.
Side note, back there was the CBD store. The guy put some under my tongue to calm me down.
Uh-oh.
It's fine.
This lovely building here that you're all looking at, I hope you're looking at it, you're looking this way. This used to be one of the mills. New Hope had a lot of mills. Shortly after the Civil War, this mill was converted to a residential home. And the first residents who lived here were two sisters. And these two sisters were completely opposite of each other. And they actually decorated the home to reflect their personalities. One sister decorated the home one way, the other sister decorated the home her way. The one thing that remains today, if you look at the front door, one's got a big arch and one does not. When they were living here, it was even more pronounced. Different shutters, different lanterns, different patio furniture. The thing that remains today in the 21st century is obviously the style of the two doors are completely different. People that have gone along Ferry Street, which you all know, that's the road that's right behind us, and we've walking along. As people have been on Ferry Street and they look down here in the courtyard, they have seen what they would describe as two women in Victorian gowns with the big Victorian hats and the umbrellas standing there as if they're waiting for the carriage to arrive. We affectionately call these ladies the Sisters of the Victorian Court.
So he said sisters that didn't agree on anything and had completely opposite tastes. My side, Nikki's side. I think that's appropriate.
I mean, it's tall enough and one like how you do and everything else in one.
This lovely blue building here, this is the Wedgwood Inn. The Wedgwood Inn originally was built during the 18th century. They actually used this during the American Revolution when George Washington was here. The building you see in front of you right now came about 1820, but it's the same foundation. One of the great things about this building is there is a tunnel that they believed was originally used to store ammunition for the Continental Army, that was later used in the 1800s for the Underground Railroad. New Hope was one of the stops on the Underground Railroad. As a matter of fact, the first African-American preacher who gave a sermon in front of Congress, U.S. Congress, credits his freedom with the Underground Railroad in New Hope. So you find tunnels throughout New Hope and Solebury Township, which New Hope is part of. The Wedgwood Inn is no different. If you stay here at the Wedgwood Inn, they actually have an ability for you to look and see this famous tunnel. And the one apparition that is seen consistently with the tunnel that leads out into the side of the Wedgwood Inn is a 12-year-old African-American girl who's only appeared to other 12-year-old girls.
Okay, are you calling me second?
So I'm standing there hearing the story of the Wedgwood Inn. I felt pressure on my head and I'm sweating worse than I was, and I feel that this place is the most haunted in my opinion. Oh, I'm drinking water, I'm calming down. I felt something.
Different people put their names on it, there, mark their honeymoon.
Going in the covered bridge, it's not Saks Bridge in Gettysburg, but it'll do. I'm trying to take artsy pictures, but I'm not really the artsy kind of gal.
And it's 1/8 scale to the hanging bridge, which is where lovers in Bucks County hung themselves because they weren't allowed to be together. This is 1/8 scale of that covered bridge.
I got my statue here.
What the hell? What is that? That's crazy.
It's me when I'm angry.
That angle. To be fair, that's pretty good.
Draw your attention to the building that's catty corner to where we are. That lovely yellow house with the blue sign saying Aaron Burr House. This is a bed and breakfast. And the reason they call it the Aaron Burr House is because we all know Aaron Burr as the Vice President of the United States on July 11th, 1804, had a duel in Weehawken, New Jersey with Alexander Hamilton. On July 12th, 1804, Hamilton succumbed to his wounds and passed away. After that, Aaron Burr fled, and he came here to New Hope, and he hid for about 4 days, maybe 5. He hid here before he eventually moved on to Maryland, when he eventually gave himself up. Aaron Burr, there's one location that we know for sure that Aaron Burr was hiding, here in the village of New Hope. The one place that we know for sure he hid is on Main Street, and that is Havanas.
Oh, cool.
He's also been seen there a lot. The one apparition that has been seen more than any other, almost combined, is that of Aaron Burr. People that have stayed at the Aaron Burr house and people who have lived there, like the help, either the maids, they will tell you things will go on and off by themselves. Things that work electronically in there do not work well at all.
So we're outside the library. Which place have you enjoyed the most seeing so far?
I really like the history of the Logan Inn. Probably because it's like, you know, one of the top most haunted places in the, what do you say, the country? I believe it. We've been inside there. It's freaking crazy. But this whole tour has been awesome. I really
like it.
really learned a lot on this tour.
I almost passed out at the Wedgwood Inn, but I mean, that to me, I felt something. So.
Yeah, I mean, I learned so much today that I had no idea. I mean, I knew it was haunted here in New Hope. Didn't know why it was called New Hope. I learned that. And it's really been incredible.
Yeah. This is cool, and it's free.
Yeah.
I think they do this only once a year, though, right? I mean,
you can do private tours too, like you said.
And it's a contest.
Yes.
I don't know if we mentioned that. We didn't know until we got here, really, that it's a contest.
Yeah.
For pictures, but you know, we're video.
Yeah.
Draw your attention to this lovely blue building across the street. This is the Joseph Pickett house. We talked briefly about Joseph Pickett at the back of the Wedgwood Inn. Joseph Pickett was the town butcher, the town grocer, and he was a very frustrated artist. He was born in 1848, and we talked about his most famous painting that he painted at the back of the Wedgwood, Manchester Valley. He painted that in 1911, and this was his residential home. People have said when they've come into the building, like the woman that owns the tour of the studio, the paintings, all the paintings have been taken off the wall, and there's no damage to the paintings on the back, no damage to the paintings on the wall. It's as if whoever did it gently took it off the wall and placed it on the ground. It's almost as if who did it maybe was an artist. There are people who have said they have seen on the second floor of this building dark, human, shadowy figures going from one end of the room to the other end of the room. There was actually a seance that was done in this building on the second floor on the far right hand side, which Adele Gamble was part of. She owns the tour. She actually had the other group tonight. And in the middle of the seance, somebody grabbed her hair and pulled it. And when everybody turned and looked, there was Joseph Pickett, and they identified him because he was a very distinguished looking man. Tall, salt pepper hair, large handlebar mustache, and he always had on an apron. There was red on his apron. And that's who was standing in the corner when they were doing the seance, and that's who pulled Adele's hair. So, I think I started off the night saying, look, I don't have a list of the most haunted buildings in New Hope. If I were to make a list, Logan Inn was number 1. Number 2 would probably be the Wedgwood, and a tie with the Van Zandt House.
Max, everybody, he's the dog of the day. Go, Max, go. So, which street are we on? I don't know, but I love it. And this is Carla's, and I want to be the two ladies that are sitting. That front table.
Doesn't that look awesome?
I'm obsessed with that table.
This building here, this is the Van Zandt House. Built in 1743. It is the oldest standing residence in the village of New Hope. This building, as I said earlier, or a few moments ago, I would put this up as one of the most haunted buildings in the village of New Hope. There's a fireplace behind this window. There is some kind of very dark energy in that fireplace.
Oh my God.
One day, the man that owned the building, Warwick Welsh, his brother came to visit, and while he was looking at the fireplace, something came out of the fireplace, a dark, shadowy figure, and lunged at him. He turned around and ran, not just up to the shop, but he ran out the door and just kept running down Mechanic Street. And his brother couldn't catch him, and then he finally told him what happened. This is typical in this building. A little girl has been seen in this building consistently. There's also been another woman who they believe is the one that's possessed the fireplace. He called her the old spinster woman, and she's kind of angry. There also was a man here that used to be an investment banker that hung himself. All of these people have been seen time and time again here in this building. Like these people coming out. If you want to stay here, you guys know how to stay there, right? Airbnb, correct?
Yes.
So if you guys want to stay here, Airbnb.
I don't really know if I want a man jumping out of a fireplace at me, so I'm not going to do the Airbnb, are you?
No.
This is the Bucks County Playhouse. As I said when we were at the Benjamin Perry Mansion, this is the brand new mill that Benjamin Perry built to bring new hope to this village. It also is a historic theater. It's been in operation as a theater since 1939, and a lot of famous people have performed here. One of my favorites is James Earl Jones. He performed here, which is great because my kids think Darth Vader or Mufasa, depending which way you want to go. The Ghost Tours of New Hope every Saturday night, starting the first Saturday in June to the Saturday before Thanksgiving. Private tours any time of the year, as long as a tour guide is available. 8 people, $12 per person. Thank you very much for coming out tonight. And thank you to the Bucks County Visitor Center and Visit Bucks County.
Thank you.
Mikey's dream is to come
I want
here
to come
for
see Rocky Horror at the Bucks County Playhouse. And if you're interested in seeing Rocky Horror, it is playing October 11th through the 27th. Make sure you come check it out. I've never seen it here, but I heard it's like an experience to see it here.
But Mikey also falls asleep at 8:30 at night and it starts at midnight, so.
And that's creepy. Today has just been a creepy day. Mini donuts, and they really are mini. Look how small they are.
They smell so good.
We cannot have any of the mini donuts.
We can smell them.
Yeah.
And we can dream.
Yeah, that's about it. That's a haunted house if I ever saw one before. And I do my little turn on the catwalk. On the catwalk.
Hi, I'm Scott.
And I'm Carolyn.
And we're from the Ghost Tours of New Hope. And thanks for watching Laliland.